Hello, everyone out there in Rumble, X, and YouTube land. Welcome back to Diego Knows. I, of course, am Diego. Yes, and today we're going to talk some more about Swingers. That's right, Swingers. Okay, this movie that you love, that I love, that everybody loves. Okay, even those that haven't seen it, you're gonna watch it after this. Okay, and you're gonna love it too. Okay, it's a great movie. It's a great movie, and I say that for everybody. Kids shouldn't watch it, maybe, but adults should watch it. Absolutely. If you're my age, you're middle age, this is you'll recognize the tropes. You'll recognize this generation. Okay, this was the late '90s. Okay, this was the late '90s. Okay, and this movie was made by Miramax. Okay, who was, they were groundbreaking back then. You can't really, for those of you that don't really understand, that are too young to understand, that Miramax was groundbreaking in Hollywood back in the '90s. They ruled the '90s. They were very avant-garde, very nuanced. Okay, they were bringing out movies that nobody, no other major studio was making movies like this. Okay, Harvey Weinstein and his brother Bob Weinstein, for all their faults, and they've got plenty. Okay, they knew, they had their finger on the pulse of what the young adults wanted to see. Okay, they knew what the new wave of filmmakers wanted to say, and they knew how to capture that in a bottle, and put that out there and sell it. Okay, and they did a lot of fantastic movies. Okay, the Shakespeare in Love, all the Kevin Smith movies. Okay, Good Will Hunting, Pulp Fiction. Okay, the Reservoir, all the Tarantino movies. Okay, all that stuff came out of the Weinsteins. Okay, that was them. Okay, putting out those movies out there. They're winning Academy Awards. They're winning, all sorts of awards for these movies, and they were very popular, especially for people like me. Movies like Good Will Hunting. Oh my God, that movie was just incredible. That was incredible. I'm gonna have to review that movie. Okay, that should be a chick flick for guys all the way, because it deals with all the drama. But from a guy's point of view, the guy's the main character, and this one is one of them as well, a Swingers. Swingers was basically a very low budget movie, okay, shoestring budget. The director basically had to ask his dad for the money. It cost $250,000 to make this movie. If you'll notice, a lot of the scenes in this movie are not lit very well. That's because they couldn't afford the lighting. They actually filmed it in real bars, okay, where it's dark, okay, and that's why a lot of the scenes are very dark, because they couldn't afford the lighting. It wasn't a production studio there. There wasn't, any of that stuff, okay. They filmed a lot of stuff without permits, and they had to do, they had to save money somehow. So that's what they did. Okay, very low budget. Okay, but the star of the movie, okay, are the characters. Okay, the script is the star of the movie. Okay, very well written script, and that's why I say this over and over again. It doesn't matter how big your budget is. Okay, look at something like Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny, the Dial of Dysentery. Okay, that came out last year. Okay, that movie cost Disney like around almost $400 million to make that movie. That's not counting marketing. That's not counting all the commercials they had to pay for, okay, all the print ads or any of that stuff. That's just making the movie. That's just paying the actors and the crew, the craft services, the special effects. Okay, that's what that was, all right? That wasn't even the marketing, the trailers, none of that stuff. Okay, it cost almost $400 million. Okay, and that movie was a piece of shit. Okay, that movie was and as a lifelong Indiana Jones fan, I'm telling you, that movie, we're all telling you, that movie's a piece of shit because nobody went to go see it. Nobody wanted to see that crap. Okay, and that was almost $400 million just to make that movie. Okay, whereas a movie like this, Swingers, yes, it's a niche audience, absolutely. Okay, there's no special effects, there's no explosions, there's no fights, no choreograph. Okay, none of that stuff. In fact, most of the budget went towards getting the rights to the songs, and there's no new songs in this movie. They're all old songs. From like the Rat Pack era, okay, or the swing dance era, okay, or maybe something from the '80s, that kind of thing. Like Heart or something, But there is nothing that spectacular about this movie, okay? But the selling point for this movie, and the reason this movie is so beloved, is because of the characters and because of the dialogue, okay? Miramax led the charge when it came to where what the characters were saying was more entertaining than what was actually happening in the movie. You think about something like Pulp Fiction, okay? Like in the very opening of Pulp Fiction, after they have like the bank robbery scene, whatever. I'm sorry, they're gonna rob the diner. They have the fucking Honey Bunny. They have that talk, and then it starts off with like, we're gonna rob everybody, right? Okay. Well, then the very next scene after that is you're in the car with Jules and Vincent, and they're just talking about Amsterdam, okay? And then they're talking about foot massages, okay? Well, that scene takes over 5 minutes long. Nothing happens. It's just these two hitmen driving in. We don't even know they're hitmen yet. We just know these two guys dressed the same in black outfits, suits, and they're going somewhere, and they're talking about foot massages and about the food in Amsterdam. Okay? But we have no idea what they're doing or what they're trying to do, and we don't care because we're so invested into their conversation. We're talking about foot massages. Do foot massages mean something or don't they? You know, I mean, it's ridiculous, okay? But we were captivated by the foot massage speech, the conversation about foot massages. Okay, that was new. Movies didn't do that. Tarantino, Kevin Smith, they were like the ones that started doing that. Okay, now not all the movies do that now. Okay, but back then you never seen that before. That was new. Something could actually hold your interest, and it wasn't an explosion. It wasn't a fight scene. It wasn't big orchestra music, you know, for a love scene or none of that shit. It was just talking about fucking foot massages, okay? Which has nothing to do with what the movie's about, okay, or the violence that we're about to see or any of that stuff. It's just foot massages. That's what I'm talking about, okay? And Swingers had that, okay? The script is very tight. It's very good, okay? What the characters are talking about, the main character, Mike Peters, who's played by the writer of this movie, Jon Favreau, who obviously became a legend after this. He's still a legend in Hollywood right now. Okay, this guy, he was writing about his own experiences moving to LA from Chicago, okay, with his friend Ron Livingston, who's also in this movie, playing a character named Rob. Okay, they moved out to LA to make it as an actor, okay, or whatever, just get their foot in the door in Hollywood. You know, his girlfriend broke up with him, so he was going through that heartache. And I mean, look at Jon Favreau. He's not the best looking guy, okay? He's not, okay? He's not classically handsome. He's definitely not a leading man, okay? He's just an average guy trying to be an actor. He's trying to be a stand-up comic, even though he's not funny, okay? But his script is funny, okay? Because he understands humor, and he understands that, you know, he's not afraid to have people laughing at him. Okay, so his main character, Mike Peters, is basically him. He's playing himself. Okay, he's a guy who's very insecure. He's not sure if he made the right choice to move out to LA. Okay, he hasn't been very successful. Okay, he's working bullshit jobs. He's trying to work bullshit jobs just to, you know, until he gets that big break. Okay, he hasn't gotten any sort of like an agent yet, or he's got an agent, but he has no it's not like a big company representing him. Okay, he hasn't gotten anywhere near that yet. He hasn't gotten any really good roles yet or anything. And he's very self-conscious about that. He's very embarrassed about that he hasn't made it yet. He's been out there 6 months and he still misses his girlfriend back in New York. In New York. Okay, in the movie they came out from New York, but in real life it was Chicago. Okay, so he still misses Michelle, and he's always talking about Michelle. He's always to all of his friends. He's talking about Michelle. Oh my God, I miss her so much. Should I call her? You know, how come she hasn't called me? It's been 6 months. She hasn't called me. You know, maybe I should call her. You know, we've all been in these conversations. Every guy I know, including myself, we have been in these conversations, and unfortunately, we've also had these conversations. Okay, we've instigated these conversations. I know I'm guilty. I know there's some guys out there I talked my ass off about ex-girlfriends, okay? Because, you know, that's what you do when you're young, okay? And into that fucking, the romance shit. And you've watched fucking, you know, Titanic too many times, okay? You know, love will conquer all. You really believe that shit when you're fucking 21, right? You know, and so we understand that. And, you know, and it gets old after a while, okay? It gets old. Okay, and this guy here, Mike Peters, he won't shut up about his ex-girlfriend. Like, dude, get the fuck, she's fucking somebody else. Okay? You need to fucking put this in perspective. Okay, you need to put this in perspective because your single mom is fucking showing, dude, okay? And I said that in the other video about how, like, you know, women tend, not all women, okay, but women tend to focus more on the emotional side of the relationship, where men tend to focus more on the practical side of the relationship, okay? What makes sense, okay? Men tend to be ruled more by logic. Not there's exceptions, of course there is, okay? And unfortunately for all you guys out there that with no male role models, I mean, unfortunately, you're raised the same way, okay, with the emotional side, okay, like women are. Okay, but you see that all the time. Guys that are just too fucking emotional. Okay, we're not built to be that emotional. We have there's a time and a place for everything. Okay, but to dwell on your feelings over and over again, nobody gives a shit about your feelings except you. And you think women don't want to give a fuck about your feelings, okay? About what you're feeling, okay? Okay? They're the ones that want to dominate the whole feeling part of the relationship, okay? Your job is to handle the practical side of the relationship. How's the relationship going to work? Okay, you see what I mean? Okay, these are I know these are gender roles and whatever. They're not gender roles anymore. Fuck you. There is. Okay, no amount of fucking Gloria Steinem fucking protesting is going to change a man wanting to act like a man and a woman wanting to act like a woman. That's never going to change. Okay, that's never going to change. Okay, every woman that decides I'm going to be like a man and be successful and a professional and a boss bitch, all that kind of shit, you're going to sacrifice a lot to get there. Okay, and men do that too. Okay, so don't give me that bullshit. Okay. I know plenty of guys that fucking succeeded, okay, but it cost them something. It cost them ex-wives, their children hating them, all sorts of fucking shit. Unwanted children, all sorts of shit like that, okay, to make it like that, all right? Same thing goes with women that have made it to the fucking top, okay, of wherever their profession is, okay? It's cost them children, they're living a fucking, yeah, it's great to have all that fucking money and have a beautiful fucking house, okay? But, but when all you have is fucking cats, okay, that's pretty fucking sad. It's pretty fucking sad, okay? Because you missed your window, all right? So anyway, so I'm not trying to say anything about that, but the point is, okay, is that we have these beliefs, okay, that we tend to fall, okay, these cultural norms. Men tend to do this, women tend to do that, okay? And whenever there's, it's not in alignment, whenever men are acting more feminine and women are acting more masculine, okay, it tends to kind of fuck up everything. Okay, and this movie is a good example of that, okay, because let's face it, okay, in the 80s, when I was growing up in the 80s, like the late 70s, early 80s, that was like the first generation that was dealing with regular divorces, okay, where kids' parents were getting divorced at an alarming rate, thanks to fucking, no-fault divorce and shit, Reagan and all that kind of crap, okay, but divorce started to become the normal thing instead of like an outlier, so like the exception to the rule. Divorce started becoming like the rule. And staying married was the exception, okay? So when that happens, kids are not raised by their dads because they always stay with the mom. Or they get the dad every weekend or every 2 weeks, that kind of shit, right? Okay? But that's no way to raise a child. Okay, so what's going to happen here is the kids are going to be raised by a mom's new boyfriend or their stepfather, mom's new husband, okay, or that kind of shit. Can you imagine being a little girl going to visit your dad you haven't seen in 3 weeks, and he's already dating some other fucking woman? Like, how are you going to bond with that woman? Okay, you know what I mean? It's weird. Okay, and the same thing for a boy, and I'm going to tell you the truth. Okay, for you ladies that are single moms, okay, you're not very attractive. It doesn't matter what you fucking look like. If you're a single mom, you're a fucking single mom. If you got a kid, okay, if I'm dating you and you got a kid, okay, it's only a matter of time before that kid's going to be like, you don't fucking tell me what's up. You're not my fucking dad. You're not my dad. Okay, so rather than go through all that fucking bullshit, okay, just don't date the single mom. Okay, it doesn't matter how good you look. All right, an honorable man would just be like, no, I'm not going to date you. No, I don't want to fucking deal with your kids. Okay, an honorable man would do that. A dishonorable man will be like, well, yeah, I'm just going to fuck you. And that's it. I'm never like gonna get serious with you. You're just a fuck. Okay, see what I mean? And that's dishonorable to you, the single mom. Okay, and what message is that gonna send to her kids? You see what I mean? This is kind of the fucked up American family that we have today. Okay, and a byproduct of this, okay, is you've got these boys. There's lots of byproducts, but this is just one of them. Is you have these boys growing up tending to look at their mom as the role model. And what does mom care about? Mom cares about, finding the right guy, true love, someone who's going to take care of her, fulfill all of her needs. And if only she had that guy, that person in her life, everything would be great. Everything would be wonderful. So guys end up thinking like, okay, that's what I got to do. Never hit women, never cheat on women, never disrespect a woman, open the door, bring flowers, pay for the day, blah, 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 because that's what mom taught him to do. But that also goes, because mom doesn't know how to be a fucking man, okay? But it also means that the man has to be more emotionally invested in every woman that he tries to date, which means that his feelings are now a consequence of his actions. So when a guy opens the door for a girl, it's because he cares about her. When he brings her flowers, it's because he's fallen in love with her. Okay? If he pays for the date, it's because he wants more than just a date. You see what I mean? This is the kind of shit that dries up a fucking pussy wetter than nothing, because it stinks of desperation. it tells the girl, I can't get better than you. So I'm going to put all my apples on you. I'm going to bet all my money on you. And that's way too much pressure to put on a girl. That turns them off. Okay? Women want to feel like they're, like they're special, okay? That they're valuable. That only a valuable man would want them. Okay? But when guys act that way, when they start acting feminine and all emotional, it's letting the woman know that, that she is more valuable than he is. Okay? It's letting her know that, that he is beneath her. Because she can handle her emotions, okay? But she can't even trust herself to be emotional around him because he's going to lose his shit. You see what I mean? That's very unattractive. It's very feminine, and it turns women off. Okay? And that's the reason these guys get cheated on. It's one of the reasons guys get cheated on. It's one of the reasons women don't want to go out with them again. Okay? It's because men put too much fucking focus on the outcome of the date, of getting the woman to fall in love with him, that when she does it, now he's devastated because it goes against everything that his mom, who was his role model, told him would happen if he did the right things. You see what I mean? And that's exactly what Mike Peters is in this movie. So I'm guessing Jon Favreau was raised by a single mom. Now, I know his grandma has a cameo in this movie. I don't know if his mom does. Okay, but that's just my best guess. I don't know if that's true or not. I'll have to do some research on that, okay? But that's exactly what Mike Peters is. He's a guy who is so into like fucking, if I meet the right girl, it will solve all my problems and I can finally be happy. Okay, what the fuck? He hasn't done shit with his life. Okay, he wants to be an actor. He hasn't fucking done shit. Okay, but yet he thinks that if Michelle comes back to him, if he gets his girlfriend back, that everything will be wonderful again, the way it's supposed to be, because the way it is now is not the way it's supposed to be. He's heartbroken. He's missing her. He's hurt. He can't move on with his career. He can't move on with his life. He's depressed. He's broke. He's insecure. You see what I mean? He's way too fucking emotional. Way too fucking emotional, okay? And I know this because I used to be that way too when I was younger, when I was in my early 20s. I was that way as well. Okay, I believed that bullshit as well. Okay, it's all about the relationship. It's all about the fucking, and I would chase women away because I wanted that so bad. It wasn't until I got older and got more self-confidence and had a lot more experiences that I realized that, what? As long as I've got something going on in my life that I'm passionate about and I'm pursuing and I'm getting better at, then it doesn't matter. The women will come and go. It doesn't fucking matter because they're not the focus of my life. They're not the total focus of my life. Okay? I've got other shit keeping me happy. Okay? You see what I mean? And that makes you more attractive. That makes you more attractive to women, but this guy doesn't understand that. Now, Mike Peters has a friend who we're going to talk about now, named Trent Walker. Now, he's played by Vince Vaughn, okay? Trent understands this, okay? He doesn't give a shit what women think about him, okay? If he likes a woman, he's going to flirt with her. And that's it. He doesn't care. He knows he's the bomb. He knows he's money, okay? Regardless of what the women think about him, okay? How she responds to him doesn't fucking matter. What matters is how he feels about himself. He'd care less about her emotions, okay? Because he's not gonna, you see what I mean? He's the opposite of Mike Peters, okay? Mike Peters could learn a lot from Trent Walker, okay? He needs to learn a lot from Trent Walker, okay? And I'm hoping he does in this movie, okay? Well, actually, no, I know because I've seen the movie many times. But for those of you who've never seen it before, okay? Trent Walker, Vince Vaughn's character, understands this. He understands that, hey, man, I'm money and I'm ready to party. There ain't nothing wrong with letting a woman know that, a honey know that, okay? He calls girls babies and honeys. Hey, baby, come over here, honey. Like that, because he doesn't give a fuck if he offends them or not, right? Mike gives a fuck if he offends a girl. Trent doesn't. He doesn't because he's not pretending that he's not attracted to them, okay? Mike is. He's pretending that he's not attracted to this girl, okay? He's going to try to act all, nice and polite and stuff, okay? And Trent is basically telling him, hey, listen, dude, man, she knows that you want to fuck her. She already knows that. So why are you pretending that you just, that you want to be in the friend zone or something? You don't want to be in the fucking friend zone. If you act like you're in the friend zone, you're going to stay there, okay? You're never going to get anywhere with this girl if you act that way. You got to take risks. You got to show her who you are, okay? Fuck what she thinks. Show her who you are, okay? Quit being ashamed of yourself, okay? Quit being ashamed of being a man. Quit being ashamed of fucking being attracted to her. You see what I mean? And that's what I'm talking about, okay? And today in movies today, you can't do that. A guy can never make the first move on a girl, okay? In movies today, because that's considered assault, Okay, as you'll notice, it's always the women that make the first move. You notice that in the movies? It's always the women now that make the first move. It's not the guys. But yet in real life, unless you're fucking, Mr. fucking Big John, you fucked every girl in fucking in high school, okay, and the girl already knows about you and your reputation, yeah, she'll probably make the first move on you. But unless you're a guy like that, no, you're gonna have to make the first fucking move. You see what I mean? Okay, and you can't do that in these movies anymore. But in this movie, you can't, because this movie came out in the 90s when it was still okay for men to actually act like men. And even though it wasn't common, the fact that this movie got made is proof that it was okay to make a movie where men act like men. Especially when it comes to something that is typically a feminine genre, okay? The genre of dating, okay, of relationships, which are typically female dominated. Or the men will not act like real men, okay? They'll act like parodies of what women think men are, okay? This movie does not do that. This movie portrays men acting like actual men. And that's the difference in this movie between other movies. And that's why this movie's so special, and that's why it's a chick flick for a guy, okay? All right. Now, I'm going to tell you straight up here, okay? If I offend you, I'm sorry, but I'm not sorry, okay? Men need to know this stuff. You need to know how the truth about how men are and how we feel about relationships. And Swingers is a perfect movie to talk about that, all right? It shows the good and the bad that men do. Okay, now, so we left off last time. We had the whole big, the voice message thing. Mike came back from talking to Rob, complaining about Michelle. Trent's on the phone. Okay, he left a message for him, so Mike calls him back. Okay, Trent wants him to go out. Okay, now they live in LA. Mike Peters lives in a bullshit little apartment. Okay, like an apartment that I used to live in Chicago. Okay, when I was a kid. All right, it's got very little furniture or no furniture. Okay, I mean he's got no paintings on the wall, nothing. Okay, and his fucking refrigerator's empty. That kind of Anyway, so Trent's on the phone and he's telling him, "Hey, we're gonna go out tonight. Let's go out tonight." Okay, it's like a Tuesday night. He's like, "Let's go out. Let's go to Vegas. We're going to Vegas." And Mike's like, "Well, I don't want to go to Vegas, man. I don't want to go over there." He's like, "Come on, dude, get out of this funk. I know you're still bitching about this girl that dumped you, babe." Now, the thing about Trent is he's very masculine as far as like his attitude towards women and about life, okay, and about the positivity of life. He's optimistic and that kind of thing, okay? He talks a lot of shit. He never shuts up. One thing I find annoying about Trent, though, is that he's got this whiny voice. He's got this like, "Hey, come on now, all right? We're going to be at 500 by midnight. What you talking about, baby? Just some money. You don't even know it." Like that. For a guy who's like, 6'5" and handsome, and all that kind of stuff. He's got a big forehead, For a guy like that, who's full of self-confidence, okay, life of the party type guy, he's got that squealy voice, He sounds like Lenny, or like Squiggy from fucking Laverne and Shirley, okay? He sounds like that, okay? It brings me back to that, all right? Anyway, so he tells him that, hey, we need to go out, we're going to Vegas, we're going to get some pussy. Which is true. Mike, of course, has not gotten laid since he broke up with his girlfriend. It's obvious. You don't have to say it. It's obvious. Okay. He resists. He doesn't want to go. Okay. And his excuse for not wanting to go to Vegas, that he tells Trey, is like, "Look, half of those girls are all nasty skanks." He calls girls skanks. This movie's so dated. This is the 90s. Nobody says skanks anymore. But I used to say skanks in the 90s. I used to say that word. Half these girls are all skanks, okay, who'd be nothing if they weren't surrounded by drunk assholes. Which is true. But I mean, that's true for anybody. Okay, a lot of people think that they're hot shit, when the people around them are drunk. Okay, it's true. Let's face it, okay? Ladies, let's face it, okay? If you were all sober and there was a super handsome man and there was a bunch of women around and you were all sober, how would you act around him? You'd probably act normal, okay? Okay? But if you're all fucked up and in a club and the same guy was right there and you same one, but all you women are fucked up, you probably act a lot more flirty and touchy-feely and shit. Exactly, that's what I'm talking about, okay? Well, that's what he's saying, is that these women are all fucking a bunch of skanks and they wouldn't be shit if it wasn't for a bunch of drunk assholes standing around him, offering to buy him drinks and drooling all over him. Which is kind of true, okay? It's pretty girl privilege. They know that. A girl who's pretty knows that all she has to do is walk in a room and she's going to get attention from guys. Guys are going to hit on her. Guys are going to buy her drinks. Guys are going to try to ask her out on dates. And all sorts of shit like that, okay? So that's true. In the real world, they're nothing. But, when they go into a bar or something, all of a sudden fucking they're valuable, okay? And they know that, all right? And he says and I'm not going to be one of those assholes, okay? And, And it makes me sick. That's what he says. He's trying to get all self-righteous now, which is not very believable. Okay? Like some nasty skank, okay, who's not half the girl that my ex-girlfriend is gonna front me? Okay, so now he put his ex-girlfriend on a pedestal. Okay, so she's the ultimate woman in the world, and no other girl is gonna compare to her. Okay, that's what he's trying to say. That's his excuse for not going out there and trying to meet another girl. Okay, because none of them are gonna compare to her. They're all a bunch of skanks. Okay, that's bullshit. That's a coping mechanism. That's a coping mechanism. Okay, that's the excuse he's using because he's scared. He's scared of getting his feelings hurt. He's scared of falling in love. He's scared of getting rejected by women. Okay, and that's all it is. This is an excuse. This is a cover for the fact that he's scared. He's scared that no woman will ever love him again. That's the truth. These are the things that he's afraid of. But he's not going to say that to Trent because guys, we don't tell guys. We don't tell the guys this stuff. We sure as fuck don't tell women this stuff, okay? But if you're paying attention to his body language and his speech mannerisms and the things that he's talking about, it's pretty obvious that this is what's going on. This is what's going on in his head. I've been there, okay? We've all had lapses of self-confidence, okay? We've all been there, okay? Every guy I know has been there, okay? I've been there myself, okay? I know what it's like to feel that way, okay? And the fact that he's not out there hitting on girls, talking to girls, meeting girls is just reinforcing his own insecurities and his lack of self-worth, okay? And that's why he doesn't want to go out. So this movie, like I said, this movie is very believable, very relatable as well, okay? So Trent is committed to getting him out of his depression, okay? And to get him laid. He's, dude, we gotta get you laid. Okay? Trent is such an awesome friend to have. This is a guy, you get every guy needs to have a friend like this, okay? This is a guy who can get you out of a funk. I've been this friend to plenty of guys. Like, I was in the fucking Marines, for Christ's sake, all right? I've had to do this for many guys, dude. A guy telling me, we would come home from deployment, right? And he comes home and finds out his wife is fucking some other guy now. She wants a divorce. This guy's all fucking upset. He's heartbroken. He's thinking suicide. I'm like, dude, we gotta get you laid. Come on, man, let's go get you laid right now. Because you need to get laid right now. You're not gonna be able to think straight until you get laid. Okay, that kind of thing. All right. So yes, I know what it's like. Okay, I know what it's like. All right. And Trent is committed to getting Mike out of his depression. All right. Okay. So he's like I say, he's a great friend. So Trent's like, okay, we're going to Vegas. And Mike's like, I am not going to Vegas. I'm 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 not going to Vegas. And next thing you see, they're in the car. They're going to Vegas. They're in the car and they're on their way to Vegas, okay? Now Mike's wearing a suit. Okay, Trent's not wearing a suit. He left his suit in the back. Why the fuck is he driving to Vegas if he didn't fucking change his clothes yet, all right? Like, what the fuck? What are you gonna do, pull over at a gas station and change your clothes? Like, what the fuck, all right? So they're on their way to Vegas, okay? And Mike tells him that he's only got $300, so he's only gonna gamble $100 of it, okay? But they're going to act like they've got money so that they'll get a lot of free shit, so that the management will comp them stuff. If they act like they've got money, they don't need the shit, they'll get a bunch of free shit, okay? So that's how it's done over there, okay? And I've been to Vegas, and it's true. However, I don't drink, okay? So my girlfriend at the time, when we went to Vegas, okay, we went several times actually, but one of the things I understood about going to Vegas was that, I got nothing to gain. I don't gamble, and I don't drink, and I don't smoke. Okay, so I had nothing really to get to. I got nothing out of it as far as that goes. Okay, but yeah, if you are the type of person that does drink, that does smoke, okay, that does like to gamble, yes, the more money you spend on the games and stuff like that, the more free drinks you're going to get, the more all that kind of shit you're going to get. All right, so that part is true. Okay, so you can only afford to lose $100. Okay. And he's hoping that they'll look rich, and they'll get a bunch of stuff comped, all right? A lot of free shit. Trent, like I said before, Vince Vaughn's character, Trent Walker, is very laid back, okay? He's very handsome, he's extroverted, okay? He says baby all the time and daddy. Hey, daddy, come on, man, come on, baby. We talking about baby? Talk about daddy, we're gonna be at 500 tonight. He talks that way, all right? And which, if you notice, the movie's called Swingers, and what was popular in the 1930s and 40s and early 50s was swing dancing, okay? So a lot of the vernacular they use is from that era of swing dancing. Also, if you pay attention to the characters in the movie, most of the characters, the men, all have short hair combed to the side, okay? Most of the guys are wearing suits, or they're wearing collared shirts. They're wearing bowling shirts like Charlie Sheen wore on 3.5 Men. A lot of that stuff, you're going to notice that. Some of the women in the movie have hairstyles from the past, okay, from the 1930s and 40s, literally. Okay, for example, later on in the movie, we're going to meet a girl who plays Dorothy at the MGM Grand, Dorothy from The Wizard of Oz. So her hair is like Dorothy from The Wizard of Oz, 1930s. Okay, so you're going to see a lot of that in the movie, a lot of characters who look like they're from a different era, even though clearly this movie takes place in the 90s, all right? The vernacular, the clothes, the music, all that's from another era, okay? I thought it was very clever they put that in the movie, all right? So that's going on, okay? Like I said, Trent's very laid back. He's extroverted. He's a baby, okay? He's also a bit immature, okay? Now, no character is perfect, okay? If Trent exhibited all these positive masculine qualities, I'd say he's a perfect guy, okay? But he actually has faults, okay? Trent is not a perfect human being. He's got a lot of defects of character as well. Firstly, he's very immature. Okay, he's very, very immature, okay? For example, he didn't even get dressed, okay? He decides he's going to get dressed in the back seat while the car is in motion, which means that that Mike is going to have to put his hand on the steering wheel. He's going to have to drive the car from the passenger seat while Trent's in the back changing his clothes, all right? Very immature. He didn't think it through, okay? He's more of a fly by the seat of his pants type of guy. Okay, whatever you feel like doing at that moment, he'll do it without planning ahead. Okay, that's the kind of character that Trent is, okay? Very attractive, but, you know, it's not very good for, like if you're looking for someone who's responsible, you know, that's definitely not Trent Walker. Okay, he's not responsible, okay? He's more of like a flash in the pan, you know? Okay, that type of a guy, all right? So that's going. So like I said, he has to put a suit on in the car while they're driving, okay? And Mike's concerned, like, can we make it by midnight? Can we make to Vegas by midnight? And Trent's like, we're going to be up 500 by midnight, baby. You know? They're like, Vegas, Vegas, Vegas. This reminds me of a story about my brother. When I was living in Chicago, I used to be a bouncer at this huge nightclub in Chicago. It was called Excalibur. Maybe some of you have been there, okay? It's like 7 nightclubs in one building. The building is like a castle-shaped building. It's in the Gold Coast, downtown Chicago, north side, all right? And it was called Excalibur. I used to work security there, all right? And I remember that on my day off, my brother came to visit me from college and in Austin, and he was in Chicago, you know, and we just got fucked up. And then we're sitting there in front of my apartment, and we're looking at each other, and I said, "Hey, Vegas?" And he looked at me, he's like, "Vegas." And again, we both knew what that meant. I mean, we're gonna get fucked up tonight. We're gonna go out party tonight, okay? And sure enough, we went to the club and we got fucked up. And we were referencing this movie, the Vegas, 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 okay? Because it's true. It just means that you're getting revved up. You know, hey, I've seen every fucking episode of Sex and the City, okay? I've reviewed every episode of Sex and the City, okay? And let me tell you some guys, we get fucking charged up when we know we're about to, you know, we're dressed up nice and we're about to go out, okay? We're going out hunting. We're going out to get fucking laid, okay? We're going out to get some fucking putang, okay? Some pussy. Okay, we're out hunting for some fucking pussy, and we're gonna come home with some fucking pussy, okay? We get excited too, okay? This is kind of how we get excited. We do shit like that, like, Vegas, yeah! You know, we do that shit too, okay? So it's not just you that do it, all right? Until they get bored. Because I guess it takes a few hours. I don't know. I mean, I've been to Vegas, but I flew there. I don't know. And I've been to LA too, but I've never driven from LA to Vegas. I don't know how long it takes, okay? But anyway, all right. I'm going to stop my review right here, but I'll continue shortly to continue my review of Swingers. I thank you very much for watching this long, and I'll see you soon on the next one. Bye.